Hi, this is Tom Huser with the Huser team, coming to you today from Las Vegas, and I wanted to talk to you a little bit about, what's happening in the Las Vegas, Henderson, and North Las Vegas real estate markets in August of 2018. You're starting to hear some information, on the national and local news just about different things going on with the economy and real estate. So I wanted to dive in a little bit deeper to that and hit the Las Vegas market specifically and real estate. But what's going on big picture nationally? There are a lot of experts out there that are starting to predict that there's going to be an economic slowdown in the United States from late 2019 or starting maybe around late 19 or 2020 and maybe 2021. So they're not really for sure, but they think in the next 18 months to 2.5 years, we could start to see this economic slowdown. The big picture that I want to paint here, though, is the sky is not falling. It is very important to realize that what happened to real estate in America from 2007 to 2009 was unprecedented, and nobody is predicting anything like that again. And in fact, they're not even predicting that anything is actually going to go negative at all with real estate, that everything is going to stay positive. That the supply levels of home inventory will pick up a little bit, and that's going to lead to more modest appreciation, but not lower prices. So, what we've been seeing is these really low supply levels across many markets throughout the United States, which has just been rapidly driving up prices. Going forward, it's just really looking that it's going to slow down those appreciation levels, not go negative. So we'll just be at a more nominal 2 to 4% appreciation annually versus 10, 12, 15%. And honestly, that's great for all of us because we never want to see bubbles and bursting and anything like that. So very happy to hear that it looks like it's going to be a smooth ride. So in addition to that, Las Vegas is not following the national trends right now because what's happening across many markets in the country, we're hearing it. We are in a coaching group with 4,000 of the top agents in the country. So we're not only hearing from them, but we're also hearing on the news that, their supply is picking up a little bit. And again, these were very, very low supply levels, so they're actually just starting to get more supply. It does not mean that there's a big red flag or an emergency, anything. It's actually better for buyers because there's actually starting to be homes to choose from in other markets. However, Las Vegas, again, is not following that trend, so I wanted to get in now more specifically with some slides of what's actually happening in the Las Vegas market. Okay, so let's first jump into the census data here. So this is really cool because obviously Clark County is here in the red. So, and these other highlights are who is moving to Clark County, the inbound migration flows. And you can see really dominant here on the West Coast, all the coastal areas. Get over here into like Arizona, then also pretty heavily over here on the East Coast. So most of these markets, are just much more expensive than the Las Vegas area. So that's a huge attraction is because we're still very affordable. And these areas up in here are getting tired of the cold weather and the different weather patterns that are coming through. So a lot of them just want to escape and come to our amazing weather that we have going on here. So here we have our closed sales. You can see that ever since 2015, our sales have just consistently increased. And we're starting to see a dip over here on the right-hand side. We're definitely starting to see this come down a little bit. And this isn't monumental because you can see that was 44,000 and that's 42,000. So it's not monumental by any means. But the news would try to turn this into a negative thing and say that sales are dropping. Well, they are accurate, but let's get into why sales are dropping. Sales are dropping because there's no homes to buy. So here's our inventory levels right now. We're at 2.1 months of inventory currently in Clark County. So to give you some sort of an idea, the natural to not be a buyer's market or not be a seller's market, we need to have 6 months of inventory. This goes all the way back to 2015, so we've got 3 solid years of data. We have not had 6 months of inventory this entire time, and our inventory just keeps getting worse and worse and worse. And that's because our buyer demand is so high, we just simply can't keep up with the supply of homes, and the builders can't build fast enough. Okay. So our median days on the market, again for Clark County, it's about 14 days right now. But I'm here to tell you though that this is not actually that accurate. The reason for that is this includes really expensive homes also, but it also includes sellers that unrealistically price their homes and they sit on the market for 100+ days, and that gets factored into this number also. So when you pull out really expensive homes that take a lot longer time to sell, and you take out overpriced homes, our homes are still selling in 2 days to 7 days. So 7 days is probably more the average time frame that homes are going under contract. And this is some big picture statistics of what's happening in the first 7 months of 2018 versus the first 7 months of 2017. So we can see that we've had a little bit less homes actually come onto the market, new listings, about 2.7%, which of course has hurt our pending sales a little bit, and it's also hurt our closed sales by about almost 4% year to date, year over year. And you'll see that some of these numbers conflict a little bit, like the days on market and just some things. These are big picture views, and not everything that I have here is pulling the exact same data. Some of it will include single family homes only, like this one. Some of the other ones included condos and townhouses. Other times, it might just pull a little bit different area of the city in to where another one doesn't, just another little section of an outlying area. So what you can see right here is, while our prices have definitely increased, 14 to 15% in the median and the average price year over year. Pretty substantial there. And this is why right here. Our inventory is down 27% year over year. So that means there's literally 27% less homes on the market for buyers to buy. So of course our sales are going to fall. And of course our home buyer traffic is going to slow down, because there's simply just no homes on the market for people to buy, and that has definitely become somewhat frustrating for our buyers out there in the market. And this is a nice big picture here, so you can see what our prices have done. This was many years ago, 2008, near about the peak of the bubble. This probably a little bit, peak was a little bit higher back here. So we have still not recovered from our previous bubble pricing when everything popped and came back. So most other cities in America have actually surpassed their previous prices, and they're 20% above that. Also here with the condos and townhomes, this was single family homes over here. This one is much lower still over here. So there was a survey done by First American, and it says, what is the primary obstacle to becoming a homeowner? And that was limited inventory of homes that they like, 35%, which we can obviously see that in the report that we saw. The overall affordability, over the last couple of years, prices have came up and interest rates are starting to come up. So we'll touch on that a little bit more. And also down payment, people are concerned about how much money they have to put down. And we'll get into that here in just a minute. Sometimes that number is not as high as people think. So mortgage affordability, as our prices move up and as interest rates move up, this here is what is considered a really good gauge here from 1985 to 2000. So the average monthly mortgage payment that a family would pay was about 21% of their income. So that's kind of the baseline there. So anything less than 21% would actually help families to have a little bit more spending money, and anything above 21% would hinder families from having additional spending money. So we can see back in 2006, the major peak, it was 25%. So definitely homes were not affordable at that time. The first quarter of this year, we were only at 17%. But since the first quarter, we've definitely seen a pretty big spike in interest rates. Right now, we are seeing around 4.5% to 4.75% in interest rates. So this means that we're probably right around, this shows a 5% rate. We're probably right around 18 and a half this moment as a ballpark. So still much below that 21%. So then Zillow went on to forecast, when we move to 6% interest rates, which are predicted in the high fives by the end of 2019. And then if we ever get back to 7% or when we do, so we can see that, the affordability all the way through 6% remains good with that 21% mark. So the homes are still affordable out there. They're just not as affordable that everybody liked to see, back here in the previous years when prices were lower and interest rates were lower. So down payments. So millennials is a generation. It's not a loan type, but I felt that was good to put in this slide just to talk about, because that is our biggest buyer pool right now, or the millennial generation. So on average, the millennials are putting down around 11% on the homes that they buy. As far as, there's three types of loans here. There's the FHA, conventional, and VA. And typically VA can be 0% down for the majority of qualified veterans out there, but we're seeing that they're still putting down on average of 2%. Conventional loans, the minimum down is 3% on a conventional loan, but it is really hard to qualify for that 3% down. But we're still seeing that on conventional, average of 19% is getting put down. And for FHA loans, the minimum is 3.5%, and we're still seeing around 4% that's being put down. I hope that this helps you to see the affordability of homes, and that not everybody does have to put down 20% to buy a home. In fact, most people don't put down 20%. They put down a lot less, like 2% and 4% here. So it makes home buying very affordable. I hope this information has been really helpful for you, just to understand, the difference between local and national trends, because all real estate markets are local. Since we sell hundreds of homes per year, many people want to know, what do we think is going to happen in the future? So I'll go ahead and put that out there. I think we're going to defy the odds of what's happening in the rest of the nation. I think our inventory is going to stay relatively low. Because we have this huge demand of buyers coming in from multiple areas that you saw in the census report. We have new businesses, new industry moving into the greater Las Vegas area. And why is that? It's very desirable to live here. We have professional sports teams coming. We're 4.5 hours from the beaches in California. It's an awesome place to live. We have world-class shopping all on the Strip, amazing restaurants with some of the top chefs in the world that are based out of right here out of Las Vegas. So because the city remains so desirable, and not only desirable, but enticing for others to move to, I see our economic expansion continuing for years to come. So if you are considering moving to Las Vegas, or you already live here and you're getting ready to buy or sell, please consider the Huser team. We're very experienced, we're good at what we do, and we would love to help you make it a very successful transaction and make it smooth. So give us a call today.